everyone. So, we're kind of low on content right now because it's really cold. I know we did the My House episode, so I thought maybe we could just try other people's houses as well. So we're gonna try this one over here. Follow me.
So are these people even home?
Oh, we'll find out. Don't ask why I have a key.
Okay.
Let's close that. Light yourself. Yes.
I mean, you have a key.
And welcome to Kevin's house.
Yeah, we'll redo that.
What? I have to go outside again?
Yeah, in the cold. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Danny.
Should I just never stop the whole time? This is it? Just go right into it?
We're live streaming this.
We have 46,000 viewers right now.
Nice. Alright, so we didn't actually break in here. We were invited. This is Kevin. This is Kevin's house.
Hi, Kevin.
They weren't invited.
Kevin is our good friend who we've known for a very long time. And he has many more animals than I do. So he has been willing to show off some of his enclosures and his cool animals that he has for our show. And we're going to milk it for as much as we can get out of it. Can't see me
About 5 episodes.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, your editor won't like that very much, so.
So Kevin, rough estimate, how many animals do you currently have?
We did a count this morning, not including if all my insect colonies counted as one. It's around 45-ish, plus or minus.
45. That's pretty good. We're not going to do the thing that I did, where we take 5 animals and make it into like half an hour. But we'll just kind of skim through everything, get to know everybody that you have. Maybe not each individual bug.
Oh,
But
well, they're all named Twigs, so that helps.
yeah, I'll take a close look at them as well. Anyways, let's get started. Look at some stuff.
Okay,
So introduce us to your first animal here.
so this up here is Igneal the Fire Skink. He's one of the largest groups of lizards on the planet, and he loves to burrow. He's often underground when he doesn't think he's going to be fed.
Oh, good.
I had Calum feeding him when he first showed up.
That's true. He's a very good eater.
So you can get it on our exclusive accounts.
Yeah, if you want to see that.
Oh, yeah.
But you get a good look at all that coloration that he has there. So he's not actually
That
poisonous, even though
Eat your
he's
finger.
super brightly colored.
He wants your fingers so
He really
bad.
does. I told you, he's a good eater.
They're all good eaters.
But yeah, that coloration, I'm assuming, is to help break up his pattern in the wild. But
With
wow,
a hint of danger.
you can get where they get the name fire skink from that super cool red coloration.
Behind the hard water stains.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, super cool.
We'll take
Alright.
it out there.
Who's next?
So, that is good old Nerberta, the breaded dragon.
Brady.
The breaded dragon.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So, arguably the most common reptile pet.
Yeah, I would say that.
There we go.
You did say that in our last episode.
Did I?
So there you go.
Well, I said
I think you said second most
those
common,
and
but
leopard geckos and
whatever.
things like that.
Comment in the comments, you guys.
Is this one Pagona viticeps? I know
Yes.
there's a few different bearded dragon species that are used as pets,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm assuming this one.
It's the common one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's Viticeps.
Nice.
So, she's pretty in orange.
Yeah. They come in
It's a
some
hypo.
hypo. Is that the morph?
Mm-hmm.
They come in some crazy colors.
Mhm.
I've seen some really interesting ones. I used to have one that was like all orange, and it was of the like giant variety, like, super
Nice.
big. But very cool
Yeah,
little
she's not fully grown yet.
Yeah, she's still growing.
Australian
She's a little
desert
baby.
animals.
How big will she be?
This big.
Well, I gotta zoom out for that. Whoa.
Lying.
I,
He's lying, so you're not get that big.
yeah, you.
We'll probably get another
Now we're gonna get sued.
2-3 inches longer,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And they bulk up a bit.
yeah, she'll get fat one day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay because we support her anyway.
Yeah.
Alright.
They are very good eaters. They'll eat pretty much anything, bugs, fruits and vegetables. And it's interesting, their diet actually does change as they get older, right?
Mm-hmm. They start off very much loving bugs and pretty much bugs.
Yeah.
And then the older they get, they will eat vegetables and maybe an occasional bug.
She's on about half and half right now.
Yeah.
Half bugs, half fruits and veggies. If you're not careful though, when they're little, they'll
get
stay on
picky.
bugs forever,
Oh,
and then they
interesting.
get obese.
Very cool. No,
Should I take Leo out or?
you could if you want, yeah. This one you should be familiar with. This is a ball python. I have one as well, Python Regis, but this one is much larger than mine.
He's a lot bigger than Curly.
Oh yeah,
And
much
a
bigger.
lot heavier too.
This is what your typical adult ball python is going to look like. Yeah.
Stretch out.
She could get even bigger.
Yeah. So the females are the ones that get bigger than the males, right?
There we go. Look at that.
That's one big snake. But yeah.
Big old snake.
Kind of went over a lot more in-depth facts about ball pythons in my video, but I thought this would be cool to check out just to see what an adult one would look like. And one with natural colorations, because again, the ball pythons are another super duper common pet that can come in so many different colors and patterns and things.
We can talk about morphs in my video.
That's true. We can
I
go.
have one.
I know little to nothing about morphs and their names and stuff, so Molly will be our resident expert.
Well, not on ball python morphs.
Well, no, but
I know maybe 5.
yeah. I got albino. That's about it.
There you go. That's a good one.
Alright.
That's a good one to know.
Alright then. A little bit of fat, a lot of bit of poop.
Pudgy. But cool. Alright,
She is a round one.
let's move on to our next subjects. Next up, we have some crested newts. This is your newest addition to the collection.
Yes, there. I had to think about that. I've had them for probably about a week today, actually.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. My buddy Steve was looking to move, and I was like, "You give in to me."
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts. So they are the Danube crested newts. So they're found out in Italy. It's either Italy or France.
Yeah.
And then my isopods are found in the opposite one. Or some of my isopods are. And the big way to tell the difference between the male and the female is that one right there. That is the male because he has his big old crest showing off. And then the female is hiding in the corner.
Yeah, back in this corner here. Can't really see her that well.
Let's see if I can find her.
Got her tail poking out there.
Hi.
Yeah.
She's the one that the bearded dragon wants to eat.
Super cool. And these are much more aquatic than the salamanders that we typically
yeah.
find.
These guys have only lived in water their entire life, and it'll stay like that.
But they don't have gills,
No, they do not.
which is very cool. I always liked finding newts when I was in England.
I've had a beta fish before, right?
So this is a beta fish, and we're gonna try and catch it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
This is
You're
your neck of the woods,
beautiful.
Danny. Tell us about fish.
Go, Danny.
Listen. Fish. This is beta fish.
Thank you.
Like for part 2.
Amazing. This is why we keep you on.
Uh-huh.
So, beta fish live in puddles.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Is it a
Oh.
myth?
Yep.
Gosh.
Kevin's got false information.
Controversy.
Yep.
Since when?
They live in rice paddies,
Rice paddies. Those
which
are
are much,
basically
much,
puddles.
much bigger than puddles.
Like a really big puddle.
Yeah, they live in a giant,
A giant
puddle.
puddle. It's standing water still, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna. A puddle will dry up when the sun comes out. Not a rice paddy.
It's a fun fact for all you beta fish owners out there. I know a lot of people keep these in like
Little tiny
a
tanks.
flower
Yeah.
pot kind of thing.
Yeah,
Which,
that's not good for
that's
Yeah, you can't
not
do
good
that.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes if they have too long of fins, they get way too tired swimming.
just
bred
learned
for
that
beauty.
recently when I was gonna go get her.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about getting a male, but I read that certain, not all the males with long tails, but certain like breeds, I guess, of the long-tailed ones, their tails are so long that it weighs them down, and they get exhausted swimming, and they die much faster.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I had a male beta fish in college. He's my roommate, Shia the Beta. He lived for 4 years.
Well, that's pretty good for a
That
beta
was
fish.
pretty good
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
beta
they're
fish.
usually- their
I was a really
average
good beta
lifespan is
dad. I was a good beta dad.
Your dirt enclosure here.
Proud of that one.
Yes.
Wow.
How long did you spend? Did you spend the entire car ride writing
In
that?
several weeks.
He was practicing the delivery in the car.
Yep.
I like your dirt enclosure here.
So these are one of my multiple isopod colonies, and I breed them up so I don't have to clean out tanks.
Are these roly-poly-olies?
They are roly-poly-olies.
Hey, you had to speak to all the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but these are specifically peach ones, and I'll
Peach
put.
flavored.
Flavor? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Actually, yes, they
Wow.
taste just like peaches.
Amazing.
So I put them and all the other 6 types
Mm-hmm.
in different tanks in the substrate, so I don't have to clean their poo. These guys will eat it for me. They old food,
bioactive stuff going
Yeah.
into those tanks.
eat food, poo,
There you go.
gross bits, leaves. I have to do no work. These are the Gestroy isopods, Armadillium Gestroy, really making it difficult. And these are found in Europe natively, and we just have plain gray roly-polies.
Like I said, they look like
Yeah,
that in the
these
wild.
are cooler roly-poly.
I know, everywhere else in the world has cooler roly-polies than us.
Dang.
It's a fact. So,
Very cool looking.
if I ever make a land portion to the nuke tank, these guys will be living in it.
All right.
Anyways, let's look at
Well,
what Kevin has.
So this is Iroh, named after the great Fire Nation
General.
I forgot his
Dragon of the West.
Dragon of the West. And he is an armadillo lizard of some kind.
Yeah, very cool.
We're not 100% sure on what kind. We're thinking sun gazer.
Mm-hmm.
And I got him because somebody I met through work was like, listen, I'm trying to downsize. Do you want this? And I said, absolutely I do. Let me pretend to ask my girlfriend first. And then I already was like, yeah, we're going to take it. And then Molly was like, sure, if you want.
Yeah.
that's a beautiful love story.
They are very cool lizards.
Between Kevin and that lizard.
Yeah, yeah, you were playing a part in it.
Yeah, pretty much. She would have paid, and I would have walked in with it, surprise or not. So something that I can't say if it's from previous owners or just the way it was born is it is missing a couple of toes on the foot.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look like it's constantly flipping you off.
Yeah, that's kind of common for a lot of different species of lizards when it comes to some rough
Captive.
conditions.
Yeah. If you don't have the perfect conditions, it'll lose toes,
Mm-hmm.
bits of tail.
Specifically from shedding problems. It's not like they just kind of fall off out of like stress.
Yeah, it's a crested gecko thing.
Mm-hmm. But armadillo
Not
lizards are super
toes,
cool.
but-
And
tails,
tails.
yeah. Armadillo lizards, they get their name from the fact that they're kind of covered in this like armor similar to an armadillo, and also some of them in defense will curl up into a ball. Actually, they'll bite their tail and make this big spiky ball.
Not one I currently have.
No, not this one. It won't do it.
Although, in the future,
Mm-hmm.
I will gladly take one of those.
Yeah, cordylids. That's the family that they're from. Super interesting. I have a friend that actually studied them, did their thesis on them, and I believe described a new species. And also, I don't think it's that one. New species right here. Wow.
Wow, incredible.
Put it in the thumbnail. Another really interesting thing for any nerds out there is there's a genus of cordylids, of armadillo lizards, called Smaug, or Smog. I don't know. Whatever. S-M-A-U-G, like the dragon from
Smaug.
Smaug.
Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Yeah. So, fun nerd fact for you.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Moving on. We've seen a version of this animal already in a previous video. We had our PA native stick bug. But now we have some international stick bugs to show off.
Mm-hmm. These are the Vietnamese walking sticks.
Yeah. So, I talked about them before. I believe the order is Phasmidea
Yes, there.
for stick insects. And obviously, why are they called stick insects? Because they eat sticks. That's a lie. They look like sticks. But Kevin has quite the collection of them.
Mm-hmm.
Your guess for how many stick insects you currently have is like what?
30?
Way more than that. Closer to like 100.
Yeah.
I'm not a numbers guy, okay?
And you have all different sizes of these.
Yep. They are parthenogenic.
Is this as big as they get?
Yeah, this is as big as they're going to get.
Mm.
And what does parthenogenic mean, Calum?
So parthenogenic is a type of reproduction, asexual reproduction, where females can make basically kind of clones, like half clones of themselves, and just keep reproducing without the need of a male. So that's why, if we might take a look at the enclosure in a second, you can just see there's stick insects of all kind of life stages and sizes in there because they're just constantly asexually reproducing.
And they're all named Twig because...
They're all clones of each other.
Twig
Yeah.
1, Twig 2, Twig 3.
No, not even. It's just Twig, Twig, Twig.
So he's got his own cloning machine in there, basically.
Oh.
It's super interesting.
I
This
think
is-
these ones, these large ones that are full grown, there's probably like 6 of them, are the last of what, Twig Gen 3? Or is this
From
Twig
the nature center or here?
from the Nature Center?
The,
Twig Gen
the
3
big
or 4?
ones? That's
Yeah.
like 4.
Okay. Twig Gen 4. They live very short lives.
Mhm.
6 months.
Well, they're super interesting. There's a few different animals that use parthenogenesis as reproduction, like a lot of arthropods and things, but also there are some reptiles that even use it, and we're actually still discovering how many reptiles can do it. A big debate right now is how many snakes actually use parthenogenesis versus what thought to be long-term sperm storage. But we won't get into that here. It's super cool. Who is this person?
Who's that frog?
That is Fro, the dumpy tree frog, or White's tree frog, or Australian tree frog. There's
White, dumpy tree frog.
It's pretty much any variation
I
of the
can
name.
relate to him because I am a white, dumpy person.
So, she is quite a lovely lady.
Her,
Loves
I'm
to
sorry,
eat.
her. I can relate to her.
There you go. Yes, she is quite the eater, isn't she?
Alright. It's her favorite thing to do. She will follow you around the corner because her tank's on a corner and hope you give her food.
Just look at that face. Who
Is this
wouldn't want to
gonna-
feed that?
Is this gonna jump on me?
Oh, for sure.
Probably.
Well,
Sure.
that'd be good content, honestly. So
Jesus.
I'm kind of surprised she didn't go for my finger going in there.
Honestly, me too. I was going to warn you, but then I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be good content.
I expected it going into it, but yeah. These are kind of notorious for biting anything that goes in front of their face.
Is it a painful bite?
No. It feels like, well, from when she's bitten me, it feels like you're getting slapped with an earthworm.
Quite the
What-
description.
yeah. A lot of people watching it be like, I know exactly what that feels like. That was really relatable.
I mean, I'm assuming so.
Another interesting thing with these is people say how they sit politely,
Oh,
where
absolutely.
they will.
It's my favorite thing.
She's not doing it right now, but she'll put her kind of hands together, like clasped in front of each other. And the reason that they're kind of sitting in that way is actually a way of retaining water. So they're kind of sucking in all their limbs and getting everything close.
Oh.
She didn't like the
You
movement.
almost got 8.
Yeah, she was thinking about it. But it's a way to kind of stay hydrated, which is super interesting. But they look so funny doing it. I wish she would do it, but now she's
I
kind
know.
of
We'll have to try and get it.
she's in hunting mode, looking for
She's gonna eat
whatever
your
was
hand.
just moving.
She can eat
She's
the
all-
camera. You eat my phone.
Do
She
you want
might.
to eat
You
the
want to eat
camera?
my phone? Little nummy nummy.
It's very, very cool. And when I was in Australia and I did a little tour of the rainforest, we didn't see any frogs until we went to this playground. And we went inside the bathroom stalls, and they were just lining the walls. like all
Yeah.
over the top of the stall and everything. They're everywhere, and inside the toilets.
I believe it.
So, there you go, toilet frog. And now we can move on
And now we're moving on
to another frog.
to who Kevin's got.
So this one, more likely to jump on Danny,
Oh.
is a Vietnamese mossy tree frog. The first type of frog I've had, and they look like moss.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how they get the name?
You'll never guess how they got the name.
I can't tell.
But these, I have two of them, named Nathan Drake and Arthur Morgan.
Nice.
Good.
This one is Arthur Morgan. And the way
Can you
to tell
actually
them,
tell?
no, can't tell them apart. I just go, these are the two names,
And this one is.
and this one is
this one.
whichever one I feel like it.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Big old jump.
We are. It's not uncommon for Calum to throw a frog in our show.
But this one willingly left. Thank you. I'll jump onto Danny.
Ooh, what is it?
I don't like those hands. Those are not hands for me.
He's better. You better catch his hands.
So I've had them for about a year and a half now. Ish. I got them in October 2019, and they have probably tripled, maybe more in size since I've had them. So,
Their camouflage is amazing.
all right.
I mean, when you see them close their eyes like this.
I have lost them
Yeah.
very quickly in the background.
That's good. That's
And-
good parenting.
I mean, Danny, you have no room to tell.
What?
You were asking where they were earlier.
That's fair.
Well, I was looking for shrimps in there. There's shrimps in there, everyone.
Yes, there is.
That's true. We will highlight these tanks later because Kevin actually made both of these.
Kevin did great work on these tanks.
He did the blast blowing and the.
If anybody is wanting, we need a top tank artist.
Yeah. He did all the sewing of the screen
Yeah.
lids together.
That was really painful, actually. I don't know how I made it through that.
Yeah, we'll do a little highlight of bioactive enclosures, which is what these are. But first, we will see not so active.
Yeah. This is the Euromastics.
There's a chair over here.
Always looking out for Danny. So this is Euromastics Jerry, which is
His name is Jerry.
No, his name is Nator, because of Calum's favorite thing in the world. Come here.
What's Cal's favorite thing in the world?
Is when people abbreviate reptile names.
That's true.
He loves it. So he is a Euromastics, which people always abbreviate to Euros. And his name is Nator. So I could go, this is my Euro, Nator.
Do you get it? Do you
You get it, Danny?
I don't get
Do you
it.
get the joke?
I don't get the joke.
an
You
idiot.
really don't.
Oh. What are you doing when you're in the bathroom? European.
There you go.
So these guys are basically kind of a lot like bearded dragons, except from a completely different part of the world.
Yep.
Bearded dragons are from Australia and the islands around there. And these guys are from the Middle East. And there is a weird thing about them, besides the males being brightly yellow compared to bearded dragons, where it's all pretty much boy, girl, doesn't matter, could be whatever color.
Yeah.
Males are a lot brighter than females because they like to show off, and they don't need water. Where they're found in the wild, there's very little water, so they get all their water metabolically, which means I don't have to worry about a water dish and cleaning out sand.
I thought you were going to say what it actually means, but yeah.
Metabolically means it gets it from food.
Yeah.
So all the collard greens I have here, and then I'll get lentils and seeds as well, and other vegetables. You hungry?
So I don't want to see any animal abuse comments saying there's no water dish in there. He's not
Oh yeah.
Is
My
it
coworker almost got into a fight with someone about that.
Really? Wow.
You want it? They're licking it.
Also, make sure you check out that cool tail that they
Oh,
got.
yeah. Their tail is their biggest defense.
Wow, look at that.
So they are burrowers, so they'll hide in tunnels. And give me that. And they go head first, and then the tail is there. So if anything sneaks up behind, whack.
Whack.
Are you guys able to add like the into the no, into the Spider-Verse, like it just shows the word whack.
Oh yeah.
I'm able to figure it out.
Atomic bubbles popping up.
So I said it. That means it has to happen in the video now, right?
That's
Okay.
correct. Danny, edit that in.
Moving on.
Alright. Now we have another similar animal to what I have, although this is a tortoise compared to what I had was a turtle, specifically a Russian tortoise. And I mean, comparing them to my turtles isn't quite the right difference between turtles and tortoises, because box turtles are kind of weird in that they pretty much move around like tortoises, but you can see that this guy, look at those little elephant feet, these hardened, strong legs. This guy's suited for being around on land, compared to turtles that are going to be more in the water with more kind of long claws and some webbing here and there, and much more streamlined shell. But this guy's just kind of built like a tank.
Well,
Oh.
I know.
is this how big he will get?
Yeah, he's probably gonna stay around this big. He's been this size at least the last 3 years, so.
Mm.
And
Do you know how old he is?
I do not.
No way to tell.
Like I said, there's
It's
no way to
really
tell.
kind
We're
of
at
impossible.
least his fourth home.
Mhm.
Well, quite the traveler.
Oh yeah.
Unless you see them from birth, it's nearly impossible to tell the age of like turtles and tortoises. There's a thing where they say you can read or count the number of rings on their shells, but like,
Yeah.
Who
That's
has
not-
the time?
well,
Where's
yeah,
the
who has
time? It's a real one.
And
But
it's also
his
just
is-
not super like accurate.
Yeah. Because that's every time they grow,
Mhm.
not every year.
Yeah.
It happens for trees. It lines up with the years. For tortoises, it's who knows.
Whenever they decide to shed that part. But yeah, super cool Russian tortoise. Also a very common pet tortoise for people.
Oh yeah. I would say this is probably the most common pet tortoise.
Yeah, I can say that. Because
Well, the most common pet tortoise that survives to adulthood.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, they're not going to get huge, like, sulcata
Yeah.
tortoises that people have, which is nice.
And they don't need as many temperature-controlled things and humidity like redfoots.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to take care of. I mean, you give them enough space, water, and
Mm-hmm.
vegetables.
We bought a dog pen that lines our deck, so in the summer he runs around our deck all afternoon.
Oh, that's awesome.
He gets some yard time in.
Yeah.
There you go.
An hour of yard time.
And now I think we just have a couple more animals to show.
A humble
Like 2 or 3.
23.
Yeah,
And on to the next.
Let's go see it. So, you've made it halfway through the video now. We're on to the final half of the animals. But luckily, they're all the same thing. It's this, a crested gecko.
There are 23 of them in this house.
Yep.
Because I breed them. This one is Calcifer. She was my first crested gecko. I did attempt to breed her at one point, but she's not. She didn't do well, so now she's just retired.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, crested geckos are a species of gecko, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They're arboreal, which means that they live in trees, for the most part. And they're really good. They're really calm also a lot of the time, if you handle them a lot. I have a lot of them, so not all of them are very calm.
Mm-hmm.
I
I mean, they're cool.
but they're really good for handling if you put the work in for it.
Is this the kind that sells car insurance?
I can just
One day we'll show you one of
pet
those.
her head and she doesn't care.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh my god.
They're very soft also. Do you want to feel, Danny?
Yes.
Well, you can tell already. Like, this is
Aw.
very different from the gecko that I showed off at my house
Yeah.
for quite a few different reasons. For one, they're not a euplophariid gecko, so they do not have eyelids. That's why they have these.
Eyes are open all the time.
Look at those big.
Cannot
eyes.
blink. Doesn't sleep with her eyes closed.
Mm-hmm. So they'll actually lick them to keep them moist.
See if I can make one of them do it in the second video.
And also their feet, if you look at them, they do have claws
See if
like
I can
leopard
show.
geckos, but they also have these sticky pads on them, like kind of the typical gecko does, that allows them to stick to a lot of flat surfaces.
It really wants to just focus on Molly's face.
Yeah. Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Let's zoom her out a little bit. Basically, they have all these lines on the bottom of their foot that are like slits cut into their foot, it looks like. And under each one of them are a bunch of microscopic little hairs. They're not the same thing as our hair.
Yeah.
But it's basically they static cling to surfaces, any surface, more or less. They're really good at sticking in glass as long as the humidity is good enough. They can also stick to plastic and stuff like that.
And actually at my school, there's a whole lab that studies morphology and locomotion of these kinds of geckos.
Really?
Because they're super cool. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
You want to check that out.
Also, you'll notice Cal does not have a tail. Some geckos crested geckos do have tails. All of them are born with tails.
Well, that
at
one you
least.
could just see the tail, so they complete each other.
Yeah,
Yep. We'll take her out later. There's one sleeping in there. You can see her tail curled up.
Oh, good night. Sorry.
But leopard geckos like Calum's, if they lose their tail as a defense, it'll fall off to distract predators. If they lose it, they grow it back. But crested geckos, for whatever reason, do not ever grow their tails back. They call them frog butts when they look like this because they look like little frogs.
That is adorable.
Yeah.
But it's not a problem.
No, right. So the reason they think that they don't grow them back is because they don't actually need their tail for anything. Leopard geckos use their tails to store fat, so they need it to survive in the desert. They don't need their tail for climbing. They can climb just fine with their feet. Basically, the only thing they use their tail for is if they overshoot a jump, which happens quite a bit because they're not the smartest animals that ever lived. If they overshoot a jump, their tail will catch them.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty neat. Oh, she's looking her eye. I don't know if you caught that. I missed it.
Surely did
I
not
just
get
saw
that.
the tail end. She'll do it.
Oh, the tail end, get it? Because she doesn't have that.
The tail nub. Boop.
Their tails are super cool though, because they, like you said, they're prehensile, so they can grab onto stuff. And especially these ones are super cool because they have, just like the sticky pads on their feet, they have that on the end of their tail as well. So they can
stick to stuff with the end of their tail.
Which is super neat. Yeah, we will do a more in-depth look into the lives of these crested geckos as well as Molly's work with them in another episode.
That's Molly.
That's Molly.
That's Molly. So yeah, if you want to hear more about crested geckos, how to take care of them, and I guess the process of starting a little breeding company, you can check that out in the next one. Other than that, I think we've met everything in the apartment.
So come back for the next episode for more in depth.
Come check it out and see more of the geckos that live here.
Next we have Bean.
That's it.
That's all there is. That's all there is to it.
This is Bean.
We couldn't not feature her. She's precious.
She is arguably the biggest star in this apartment.
That's true.
That's the only reason why I came today. I didn't even know you had other animals here.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it goes with Bean. She's sweet.
So how old is Bean?
She is going to be 3 on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh.
That's the humble Bean.
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah.
You sit there. Oh, there's a fun little thing up here.
And then he runs away.